when gold and silver were money, you didn't have these big price fluctuations. It's the fact that we've got this highly leveraged futures market.
Well, hello there, my friends. Chris Marcus here with you from the silver capital of the world, just one day ahead of the pre-party for SilverFest II, where we are going to be celebrating things like First Majestic Silver. As you can see, I have my First Majestic Silver shirt on. Who is bringing us this update with Jim Forsythe, founder of Citizens for Sound Money, who is going to be participating in SilverFest II this year. I'm quite excited about. Jim, you guys are actually going to be manning the networking session, getting a lot of people together, understanding how many citizens do care about sound money. We also are going to be seeing you at one of the panels. So great to have you in here on a Tuesday morning for a few minutes just to talk about silver. And first of all, how are you today, sir?
Doing great. Just got back from New Orleans this weekend for the gold conference there. Super excited about SilverFest. Yeah, Marion will be down there. I'll be down there virtually. And yeah, we'll have some free giveaways, some KAG or Kinesis silver that will be given out. Encourage people to sign up. Yeah, and coming back from New Orleans, I'm just super excited that the mood there essentially was revolutionary, like people wanting a revolution. You know, but in a good way. Lawrence Lepard gave a great talk about sound money and why it's such a moral issue. And then you know, called on Bitcoin and silver and gold people to be allies, not fighting each other, which is great. George Gammon gave a great speech along the lines of, you know, starting a peaceful revolution. And then to cap it off with Ron Paul, who I got to chat with, and you know, he expressed you know, interest in what we were up to, and I'm going to be working with Campaign for Liberty to try to do some stuff together with them. So yeah, Citizens for Sound Money going strong. You know, we're trying to encourage people to use sound money and protect their right to do so. And you know, really looking forward to talking to people at SilverFest.
Well, I appreciate that, Jim, and it was great to hear about the New Orleans conference. Due to Brandon is changing Joe Biden's COVID policy, I was not able to make it this year. Although you mentioned Dr. Paul, and I can imagine a lot of this must feel quite good for him. And I know you've been involved with supporting some of his campaigns. And I ask you this, Jim, just a fun one. What do you think here? Maybe even talked about him with this. What do you think Dr. Paul would be saying about the silver market today? We're here in the midst of a hyperinflation campaign. We see Ralston Benham and his cult gangster friends at the CFTC have allowed the price to get spoofed once again. The exact thing that Bart Chilton talked about, that JP Morgan has been fined for, that I've, and you as well, and many others have documented, them and Goldman Sachs and the other fraudulent felons to continue to do this year. What would Dr. Paul say about something as fraudulent as that? He must be appalled, I would imagine.
My guess is appalled but not surprised. You know, he's been buying silver and gold for decades, and you know, is aware of the games that are played. You know, and again, I've said first and foremost, just the existence of the future market. That's why there's that State Department memo that basically said by creating it, we'll introduce volatility, and it'll discourage people from holding gold and silver. And that's certainly been true. But that's why we're so excited about encouraging people to use sound money. Is, you know, you look at when gold and silver were money, you didn't have these big price fluctuations. It's the fact that we've got this highly leveraged futures market that creates these price fluctuations. You know, once it becomes money, it will be a lot more stable, and to serve as money, it'll have to be at a higher price. So I think that's where the real squeeze comes in, is people just start using it as money.
Well, I guess it's either that or dollars or maybe Tesla shares. And I would suggest that it's probably the dollars and Tesla shares that are really the volatile ones. My ounce of silver, you know, I got this silver ring on the beach last week. It still seems to be a silver ring, so I don't think that's changing much. But here you see, in the midst of all this hyperinflation, that the Fed governors, in addition to their salaries they were so excited about, they even front ran their own policy. And now Dow and S&P 500 close at records while we're still overcoming this Herculean boogeyman known as the COVID vaccine, which is doing, the vaccine is seemingly doing a lot of damage. But here, Tesla jumps 12% to top 1 trillion. Jim, what on earth is going on here?
It was interesting out there. I got to chat with the screenwriter for this movie, Money Game, that our nonprofit's interested in putting some money towards, because it's got a great message. But it's all the indexing and all the passive funds, and then quants. So like the market, there's very few people like us that are looking for value. It's a lot of indexing, passive investing, and ironically, the companies that go issue more shares, the indexing doesn't really take that into account, and that makes it go up further. So yeah, right now markets don't make a lot of sense. I think that time is going to change, and when investors that are smart looking like mining stocks, Tavi Costa had a great thread on Twitter about the incredible value in mining stocks now. Their cash flow is great, paying down debt, and it's like one of the only industries that is beating inflation in terms of profitability right now.
Yeah, Jim, that does make a lot of sense. And especially, I wonder if there's a connection to the next one I'm about to pull up, because, the Fed's talking a lot about tapering. I think we're finding out maybe they meant the Fed governors were going to taper their portfolio before the rest of us get ours. But another sign of tapering, because I do believe the tapering has begun, but they just lie and conceal it so that their constituents can get punished more by their unelected leaders. Here you see Democrats trim Biden's social plan, slashing the top line cost from $3.5 trillion to $1.5 to $2 trillion. So we're seeing, you just saw, here it is, Dow and S&P rallying to new all-time highs, even while COVID is still roaring its ugly head. So in the midst of this, the stock market's still at all-time highs, yet that was based, in my opinion, a lot on $3.5 trillion of stimulus, which is now they're hoping for $1.5 to $2 trillion. But that's not even a guarantee, because it seems like there's actually one or two Democrats, Joe Manchin and one of his buddies, that actually are saying, no, we don't want you to continue hyperinflating the currency, launching us deeper into debt. How do you think that would affect the market? I mean, could this be connected to why the banks are spoofing silver as if this is the bottom of the ninth? Could it be connected to an absolute destruction of the bond market, where especially just from September 21st, just about a month ago, yields going from 1.3% to 1.63%, as if the bond vigilantes are realizing what a Ponzi scheme the US Treasury, Joe Biden, George Bush, Hillary Clinton, all of these disturbing, unwell gangsters who have sunk us into this hyperinflationary debt spiral. Are these things all coming to a roost right ahead of SilverFest, Jim?
Yeah. I think things feel really different right now. Things feel like, stuff's brewing. That being said, I promise my wife got invested into gold and silver stocks for the first time in her life. And she took her school loan money and put it into some stocks that I recommended. And I promised her rocket ship by January 2021. So I'm not going to make any bold claims on timing, but it does seem like, we've been in this long consolidation period with people believing that we're going to taper, and I think soon we're going to start seeing either they are going to taper or they aren't. And if they do taper, the market's, I don't think, going to react very well, and they'll back off. The reality is with all the debt and, Social Security, we've got that, between paying the interest on the debt and paying Social Security, it's 100% of income from the government. And so we've kind of reached a tipping point, and they essentially have to inflate away the debt. There's no way to grow our way out of it. So, whether they spend $3.5 trillion, $2 trillion, it doesn't really matter. We're kind of at this tipping point where they can't, they can't get out of this without having sustained period of inflation in order to, kind of grow the nominal GDP and shrink the nominal debt.
Yeah, that is going to be a tough little trick that we'll see if Nancy Pelosi and Joe Brandon Biden will have the political and financial savvy and gravitas to pull off. That will be fun to cover over the coming months. And Jim, I don't know if you hear that bird chirping in the background. They say a lot of stuff. One of them was even saying, watch out October 28th. There could be some sort of surprise. Maybe it'll just be the kickoff to SilverFest, possibly something else. I mean, this Ponzi scheme is ready to blow at any time. Unfortunately, one of the things I'll be looking forward to talking with you there is how your progress has gone in terms of taking 1,000-ounce bars. Now, we still haven't been able to get ours from the COMEX. I think we got a checkmate on just one contract, but you're going to be able to tell us more about your progress there. And maybe if we can start combining the Arcadia Barter Post with the Arcadia Silver Exchange, with citizens who believe in sound money, with silver, with love, teddy bears, and everything free market minded, we might be able to discuss things like that. You could even perhaps make some special appearances at SilverFest and talk with your audience and fans.
Absolutely. And yeah, maybe we'll have some free giveaways. I got to be careful. I wear two hats, Citizens for Sound Money. Silverback Precious Metals is a partnership amongst a bunch of people that I'm involved with. Yeah, this one's beautiful. You see this shipwrecked. So this is from one of the locals here. He's a Wall Street guy, met on Wall Street Silver. He lives in the area, and he hand poured these boys. So this is when your silver gets shipwrecked, lost at sea. And then this was a custom piece of art from another Wall Street Silver member. We allow them to design some artwork, and we stamp it and give them a percentage of what we sell it for. Well, but you know, it's a lot of fun sawing those bars up, and I would love to saw the bars up that you guys get, if you get them, when you get them.
Well, I appreciate that, and people will be able to go into the Citizens for Sound Money booth at SilverFest II, which is starting with a pre-party Wednesday the 27th, then kicking into full action on Thursday the 28th. Jim, can you just give folks, let them know what you'll be talking about again and what Citizens for Sound Money is, and so they can look forward to that.
Yeah, so I heard the first part of that in the last, but in terms of what I'm talking about, yeah, we'll be talking about why sound money is important, and basically making a strong pitch or call for people to start using sound money, and we'll give some tips on how you can do that. You know, versus just stacking money. You know, the idea is to have as few of your as little money in dollars as possible, and for the least amount of time. Because, you know, right now inflation's bad, but if it gets worse, it's going to be more and more important to hold dollars for as little as possible and for as little time as possible.
That would be a great bumper sticker. Perhaps someone could make up at SilverFest II, how to hold as few dollars as possible for as little time as possible. Jim, until I had to help out a friend the other day, I actually hadn't touched a dollar, and I'd say about a month down here in Mexico. It was so delicious. My hands are nice and clean. So I'll go wash them and get rid of the last few I have remaining. And again, here's some of the things at SilverFest. We're going to have morning yoga and meditation to get in the perfect mindset, clear away those treasury toxins, breakfast in the black silver booth, how to bust the COMEX, lunch with Reina. Is the physical silver supply chain breaking? You're not going to find that on CNBC. They don't even know. They didn't even know there was a silver supply chain. We'll talk about how to barter for silver or anything else you want. I mean, it's an action-packed schedule. That's just day one. Plus Jim Forsythe, when we wrap up here, we're going to figure out which panel you will be joining us on at SilverFest II, which you can sign up for in the description link below. Nibbles is going to be there. Handsome Dave Pranzler. We're adding Craig Hemke to the Mount Rushmore of Silver Mount Rushmore. Jim, maybe we'll get your handsome face up there. It's going to be a lot of fun. We have some fun promos coming up. We're cornering the advertising space market on the CPM and Kitco channels because I think they're going to want to come to this party too. So with that said, Jim, thank you for joining me here today. It's great to check in. Excited we'll get to hang out more this week. Also, thank you to First Majestic Silver for bringing us today's video. They will be participating. Keith Newmeyer stopping by, and Jim, we will look forward to seeing you there. It's going to be a good week, my friend.
Thanks. Yeah, so thanks to First Majestic as well. I am definitely a holder of that. And thanks for having me. Really appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate that. And we will see you later this week at SilverFest II.